All right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, everybody, to the Master of Science in Computer Science information session. We have a lot of great information to share with you and a lot of folks from the department that we want to introduce you to. So if we want to go to the next slide, we can cover the agenda and some housekeeping items. So we're going to talk a lot about the computer science program, faculty, research, the curriculum. We're going to talk about Brown University as a whole, talk about our master's specific student resources, and then, of course, we'll discuss the application process as well. We're going to be accepting questions through the Q&A. So that's on your Zoom toolbar on the bottom. If you want to submit questions in that Q&A, definitely feel free to. We'll be answering questions throughout the session, but then of course at the end we'll save some time for Q&A, and then we'll have a special Q&A period when we're interviewing our student and faculty members as well. If we want to go to the next slide. We'll do some introductions. I'll kick things off since I'm already talking. My name is Victoria Bray. I'm the Associate Director of Recruitment with the Division of Masters and Professional Programs. And I am here to talk to you about Brown University as well as the application process. Nikos, would you like to kick things off?
Absolutely. Welcome everyone to this information session. My name is Nikos Triandopoulos. I'm the Program Director for the Masters in Computer Science at Brown University and also a faculty in the CS department. Alan?
Thanks, Nikos, and welcome everybody. Thank you for attending. I'm Alan Eustace, and I'm also a faculty member in computer science and deputy director of the graduate program. Randall, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Very happy to be here. I'm Randall. I just joined the CS department a bit more than a year ago. And yeah, pretty excited to speak about our research and our involvement with master students.
Hello, I'm Tara Lineker. I'm part of the administrative staff here in the computer science department. So I'm the graduate student affairs specialist. So I'll be here in the chat today. And additionally, if you have any emails or questions following this event, I'll most likely be coordinating with you via email. And throughout your journey at Brown, you'll be hearing from me. So happy to meet you all.
Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle Barchi. I am also part of the master's team, and I'm also a student employment manager. So if you have any questions about student employment, please feel free to ask. And welcome, and look forward to your journey here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Pranav. I'm a first-year master's student, and I work with Randall in his research group.
Hi everyone, I'm currently a second year computer science master student at Brown. I'm Wing Kwan, and I'm happy to share about my experience at Brown in this session.
All right, awesome. So if we want to go to the next slide, I will hand things over to Nikos to talk about the program.
Thank you, Victoria. So new this particular info session is our upcoming conversation with two master students in our program and our faculty member. So I will try to be a little bit brief. The information is there in the slides. You have the opportunity to ask questions, and for anything else after the presentation, feel free to ask questions, anyone in our team. Next slide, please. So, a main message, why you should be thinking seriously about applying and joining our department, the computer science department at Brown. We have world-class faculty, as it will become clear, covering a wide range of world relevant, real life relevant CS courses and areas. And we have a program that is quite flexible in offering a quality curriculum for students who complete our master's program. As we can demonstrate, we are also very happy that we achieve our goals, and we have many successful stories coming from our graduated students. And we also think that it's a great area to be at. That is Providence, Rhode Island. Next slide, please. So we look forward to having the opportunity to welcome you next fall to our academic home. The picture here is our department building where CS is hosted. And if there was one word that I would use to characterize, how life is currently in our department, I think we grow. We grow in all aspects and in quality, I believe. But here is a brief description with some numbers. We have an excellent faculty body with 54 full-time faculty, 4 of them in the tenure track, 14 teaching, research, or practice faculty. We have another 9 affiliated to CS faculty members at Brown. And I want to make clear here that, as Randall said just a minute ago, that we grow in expertise and in size. Only this last academic year, we had 5 new faculty members who joined our department. The situation is similar when we consider students. Our home is no much meaningful without students. And we are very happy that CS has the largest campus footprint. By all means, all of our programs are top in terms of enrollment. We have about 1,200 undergraduate students, about 270 master students, and about 135 PhD students. And of course, this is all happening for education and research. Here, we also pride ourselves that we have a quality research and education that we offer, more than 90 graduate level courses that once joining our department, you will be able to choose from, and at least 15 research areas that I will provide an overview soon. Next slide, please. So, coming here, joining our department and joining our program, you'll have the chance to learn from the best in computer science, world-class faculty. This goes beyond teaching, but of course, by joining our program, you will have the option to choose from a variety of really practical courses in classes of small size. And we're very proud to say that in our department, we see our educational goal as being the same, no matter what type of student we teach. We don't have special courses of only master students, for instance. Research, we have a wide we cover a wide area in terms of research, cutting edge and interdisciplinary areas, and we offer a valuable spectrum of opportunities for our students if they are interested in engaging with research. Advising from the first day, actually even before joining our program, you will be assigned with a program advisor based on your interests in a particular field in computer science, and you will have the opportunity to have direct interaction with this faculty member, but not only with this particular advisor, with any faculty member, we have an open door policy. Anyone is easily accessible. And also reputation, our faculty enjoys strong industrial connections and experience with leading roles in our scientific community. I invite you to browse through our web pages. For instance, you can check the accomplishments of our faculty. Next slide, please. This is a set of the core research areas. And if you want to see a little bit more details about some more specialized areas that our faculty is active at, you can follow the link. But the main point here is that research is going to be an important component of joining our academic home, as I mentioned, and there will be many, many options, as we'll see soon, to make your curriculum specialized. Next slide, please. So let's spend some time talking about our program. Once you join, and after 2 years, once you graduate, you will earn the degree of Master's in Science and Computer Science from our department. And the, let's say, technical requirement is that in a course of 2 years, most of the times, you will have to successfully complete 8 courses, subject to our program requirements. But I want to invite you to think about your experience joining and completing our program beyond these 8 courses. So if I were to highlight what is the essence behind our program by design, I would say that yes, we start by some requirements. You need to survive, so to speak, joining and completing our program, but it's more than that. You have the opportunity to make it yourself, to make the curriculum best fit with your individual goals after graduation. I invite you to pay attention to all the options that are there. And we also try to add extra value to your investment so that, as you will see soon, at the end of the day, not only you have completed an individual, according to your needs and desires, curriculum, but also you have succeeded in all academic aspects, for instance, being engaged with research. Next slide, please. But if I had to talk very briefly about the structure of our program, we have 2 components. 6 of the 8 courses, we call them basic component courses, have to be completed, and another 2 from the advanced component. The main characteristic of the basic component is that you will primarily be taking CS courses, but there is big flexibility to take courses from other departments as long as they relate to a CS. And the main idea behind the advanced component is that you will have there an option to specialize your curriculum, either by completing 2 advanced courses in what we call a coursework option, or to do the master's program project, option, in which case you take 2 special independent study courses and you do research with a research advisor. Overall, in the right side of the slide, please observe that by design, our curriculum offers opportunities for generalization, survey, for instance, broad CS subjects, or explore CS-related fields, for instance, policy-related topics, and specialization. With the advanced component, you can focus on a given CS area and engage in research in some CS topic. Next slide, please. This is some more details about the basic component. What I want to emphasize here is that we keep a close look at the areas of interest that are represented in our department. Bottom left side of the slide, 10 such areas. At the time of application and once you are admitted, we ask you again to confirm this area of interest, and it is through this selection by you that you are assigned a program advisor. And I emphasize this because for the basic component, you can make use of this choice, your individual area of interest, in selecting these 6 courses. Overall, in this kind of tree-like structure, I just emphasize what I already mentioned. You have the flexibility to take CS or non-CS courses. You have the flexibility to specialize in the area of interest or choose courses across areas. You have the option to take courses from other departments, for instance, art, humanities, or policy. And you even have the option to take a non-Brown course, for instance, at Harvard or RISD, the Rhode Island School of Design University, who is nearby Brown. Also, you have the opportunity under certain conditions to transfer a previously completed course. Next slide, please. And this summarizes the advanced component. Think about this also according to your goals after graduation. Someone who is more interested in industry and government-related employment, perhaps a specialized coursework option is more appropriate. If you want to explore research, perhaps be employed in industry as a researcher, or even consider continuation of your studies with a PhD, a master's project option may be better for you. This means that for 2 semesters, you will be working closely with a research advisor that you will choose, and you will submit by the end of this work a research project that very often actually can be combined with the publication. Next slide, please. There is an additional feature in our program, an optional extra requirement that gives you the opportunity to gain extra curriculum experience by completing a full-time internship in the industry. There are options for this experience to also happen in another university under a faculty's supervision, but typically we have students getting internships during the summer or the winter breaks and working full-time as interns in industry. This experience also is documented in your official transcripts. So those who will complete the internship successfully and satisfy this optional requirement will have this designation in your transcript. And for those of you who happen to be international students, we will help you for work authorization related issues, technically speaking, through the processes of CPT and OPT. Next slide, please. Program length. 8 courses typically for someone like you would correspond to 4 semesters or 2 years, taking each semester 2 courses, a 2-2-2-2 schedule. But one can always, again, make this personal, to personalize the schedule. A 2-3-3 schedule is also common. We strongly advise students, especially those who come from abroad, to start by taking only 2 courses in their first semester. In general, there is flexibility with academic leaves. So in some cases, a student, depending on the individual circumstances, may extend their studies. Full-time is defined as a master student taking 2 courses per semester. This is important in case you are international student, that in this case, you cannot take 1 course in order to maintain your valid visa status. Next slide, please. I just forgot to mention that you can check all the details about our program in the previous slide link. Research engagement. We pride ourselves that in our department, research comes naturally through the courses we teach and the opportunities we offer to our students. It's an integral part in our studies, or actually in your studies, once you join our program. Be curious about the cutting-edge, state-of-the-art latest technologies and the advances that our faculty lead, and take courses that often will have some research component. Attend faculty talks. Don't hesitate to talk to any faculty if you want to explore opportunities, and even better, by taking corresponding courses and getting to know the instructor and a faculty member, you will have opportunities to do research if you want. The link shows some of the existing at all times opportunities in our department. Next slide, please. If you are wondering if you are a good fit for our program in terms of qualifications, I want to mention that obviously we look for the best students to join our program. There are three main components in terms of this qualification check. You should be an outstanding student who has successfully completed CS coursework in challenging settings in terms of quality of the programs, etc. You have completed this list of 5 CS courses that we consider core courses, and we want to know that our admitted students are comfortable with respect to the corresponding materials. These are introductory programming, introductory algorithms and data structures, computer systems or software engineering, discrete math and probabilities, and linear algebra. And then we require 3 letters of recommendation. We want to see strong words and enthusiastic messages given by people who know you, either in the classroom or in any opportunity they had to work with you, for instance, in some cases on research. Next slide, please. I want to also emphasize that there are some funding opportunities. Our program provides some financial aid in the form of partial scholarship up to 50%. And there are such opportunities using either merit-based or need-based criteria. Also, in addition to the full-time employment, if someone succeeds in securing an internship through the professional track that I mentioned, there are some part-time employment opportunities in our department. This will be 20 hours per week max, and I'm referring to TA positions or RA positions, research, teaching and research assistant positions. And we are very happy that, for instance, this semester, the current semester, we have 21 master students who are TAing courses and 3 students who are doing research with our faculty. Next slide, please. We pride ourselves that with this program, we have many success stories. Our students and alumni have achieved, many distinctions, awards, or other scientific achievements. And this is just a partial list. I invite you, by browsing our news link in our page, to see more. But examples include Fulbright finalist or Rhodes Scholar, NSF Graduate Research Fellowship, a Norman Merovitz Award, another Spotlight Award, and some very, very interesting distinctions in terms of the quality of research. Things such that helping NASA producing more informative images. Next slide, please. What I just mentioned, it is true based on data that we collect since 2018 for this slide. These are some of the titles, professional titles in the left side of students who followed up with some industrial positions. And in the right side, for those who wanted to continue with a PhD, this is a list of places that were admitted for PhD studies, including our own university as well. Next slide, please. And last thing, based on data, since consistently for the last few years, we get a 100% outcome satisfaction feedback from our graduates. That is to say, all agree that Brown prepared them for the current career. Next slide. I think this is the last one. And thank you for your attention, Alan. I think now we can move to the most exciting part of this presentation?
Oh, don't minimize your contribution here, Nikos. That was thrilling information about the program. Outstanding details that are very important to our audience. But let's turn now to our guests, our faculty and students who are here with us. You met them very quickly at the very beginning, and we're going to have a chance to have a bit of a conversation with all three of them about their research work and maybe even some more general comments about life at Brown. I want to reemphasize that if during this conversation you have any questions, even technical questions about what you're hearing, please put them in the Q&A, and our folks here will bring them forward so we can answer them while we have our guests on the Zoom here. So let's first turn to Randall, if we can. Randall, you're a relatively new faculty member in our outstanding group of a very large group of AI and machine learning faculty. I wonder if you could just say a little bit more about yourself. What courses have you been teaching? And then describe your current research interests.
Yeah, sure. So, yes, for context, so I joined a bit more than a year ago. I've been mostly teaching one class, which is around self-supervised learning. I will give a bit of detail in 1 minute, which is a graduate class where there are a lot of master students and PhD. And then I will also teach the deep learning class, which is undergraduate class, so not relevant for everyone here, but yeah, in the next semester. And then just to give a bit more details maybe about my research. So I fall, if you remember from like 4 or 5 slides ago, I fall under this AI bullet. But what we are doing mostly in the group is to produce foundation model, world models, which are those AI systems that hopefully can solve many tasks at test time, even tasks that they were not trained on. So if you think, about like your typical ChatGPT stuff, you can ask pretty much any question, you will get decent or not, is up for debate, but you get some answer. And some of the questions you may ask are not necessarily something that it saw during training. So our group is trying to figure out, okay, how to train this type of systems so that they can really be useful in society, almost no matter, your field or your specific problem. And I also want to mention that I work a lot with master students. And again, I don't want to speak on behalf of all the faculty, but I don't think people do any sort of, prioritization in terms of PhD versus masters. There is a lot of research opportunities. It's pretty easy to connect to people, to find projects to work on. And at least for me, I don't really look at if you have prior experience in research or not, as long as you are motivated and willing to help us on one of our projects, then there is pretty much a seat for everyone. So yeah, I just wanted to mention this.
That's terrific. And before we turn to our first student, I just wanted to follow up a little bit on your research. I am by no means an expert in AI, but I know enough about self-supervised learning to realize that there can be some serious challenges, whether it's bias or safety or any number of other pitfalls in that field. Is that an area that you're looking at as well,
Yeah,
Randy?
yeah, exactly. A great point. So we have a bunch of projects that are not just about, pushing the latest state of the art, blah, 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 but we also look at biases, and not just biases that may emerge just from the data, but maybe if you have an adversary that tries to put some, things in your data set to control your model behavior at test time. So we have some safety work as well. And I will say one last thing. So the common thing we try to do in all our projects is to have a little bit of math and theory in it so that we can really be on the edge of what is done in AI research. So because of this angle, it's relatively straightforward to publish impactful papers. And that's also yeah, something that is pretty nice those days. But yeah, those AI research questions really encompass so many different underlying topics.
That's great. I'm really glad you mentioned the theory dimension to this because I think that's extraordinarily important that the frameworks, the theoretical frameworks, be built up so we really understand how these
Yeah,
systems
yeah,
are working, which is a real challenge.
yeah, yeah.
Um, let's go first to Wen Quan, who's been working with Randall for a little while. Um, Maybe a little bit more of an introduction from you in terms of your background before coming to Brown, what your interests are broadly, and lead us into a little story of how you got started working with Randall on his research.
Yeah, sure. Happy to take over. So, yeah, before I came to Brown, I actually did my undergrad at the University of Sydney in Australia. So I'm an international student. And I graduated with the university medal, and I was majoring in computer science and mathematics during my undergrad. So that's pretty much my academic background. And in terms of my research interests, I'm primarily interested in centering around the like representation learning and also the reasoning of deep learning systems. So I started working with Randall when I was taking his seminar course on research topics in self-supervised learning. So the course gave me a very strong foundation in representation learning, self-supervised pre-training, and the final project for the course is to write a small workshop paper on a research topic in self-supervised learning. So our project is to improve like the noise robustness of self-supervised vision foundation models like DynoV2 or SimClear. And after the course concluded, Randall reached out to me and said that we can turn the project into a full-fledged conference paper. So I continued to work on it for several months and with Randall and my teammates and conducting the experiments on larger scales. And finally, my first author paper got accepted to the top machine learning conference, NeurIPS 2025. And yeah, and by the way, my teammate Kevin also worked on a different project with Randall, and which is also got accepted by the NeurIPS 2025. Yeah, and recently I started working on my master's thesis project, and which is also supervised by Randall. And I'm working on improving like the mathematical reasoning of large language models through group relative policy optimization algorithm, which is a reinforcement learning algorithm proposed by DeepSeek that got quite popular these days. And Randall is also quite open-minded and provide me with all the computing resources to let me work on it. So currently it's still ongoing, and I'm pretty looking forward to making strong contributions in this field.
That's outstanding, and congratulations
Thank
on
you.
the publication success. That's great. Have Quan, have you, in your work with Randall, have you had a chance to get to know some of the PhD students working in his area as well?
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially there's like during lab meeting, I have like frequent communication with Randall's PhD student Le Yang on some research topics that we are both working on. Yeah, and I've learned a lot from communicating with those like PhD students.
Yeah, that's a theme that we've heard from a number of master's students who get involved with research is the chance to collaborate with, even just get to know PhD students gives them a really important perspective on whether they might want to go on to earn a PhD either at Brown or some other fine institution. So that it's both the collaboration with a faculty member like Randall and his PhD students that master's students can participate in. That's great. We'll come back to you again, but let's switch over to Pranav. Um, and you're this is your first semester at Brown, so you're learning things very fast about how to master this place as a master's student. Share a little bit about your background and what you're thinking about doing in the way of research.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. So yeah, my name is Pranav, and I did my undergrad at UCLA, and then right after there, I wanted to pursue my master's. And once I came to Brown, I feel like the biggest question that at least I had was like how to figure out what specific area I'm most interested in research. And as Wen Kwan mentioned, that I feel like it's a really great asset for master students to have that 2900 class, which Randall teaches, which I'm part of this semester. I feel like that really allows you to like get a taste of the research here. And through that class, I was able to learn, okay, I'm actually interested in more of his work. And I reached out to him, and me and him, personally, I'm working with him on how can we apply such as self-supervised learning methods and world model methods on financial data and understanding like financial data dynamics. So another thing I feel like is really cool is like some of the research or most of the research that you do here is like kind of about like how is like the general tech area kind of looking towards and how can we kind of do it in more of an applied research way, which I feel like is pretty interesting for people that are also in the professional track and are not really like sure if they want to pursue pure academia or if they want to pursue more of a blend with corporate research. So I think that's a pretty huge flexibility that doing research at Brown and specifically with Randall gives is you're able to work on research projects which you can see have practical implications in the corporate world and both in academia. So, yeah, that was something that was really interesting. And yeah, I'm pretty excited with working with this group on this project.
Outstanding. I see a possible future on Wall Street for you, Pranav. Um, just two more questions for each of the students, and then we'll turn back to Victoria. If you can each share what you're thinking about currently in terms of what you will do after you get your master's degree at Brown. And then my second question, you can just answer them when I call on you together, is besides coursework and working in Randall's lab on the projects, what's your favorite thing to do at Brown or in Providence? So let's go back to Wen Quan, and you want to answer that?
Oh yeah, sure. So yeah, I'm currently in the process of applying for PhDs, and Professor Randall is also giving me great support in writing like letter of recommendations and making connections. Yeah, so currently I'm still thinking about pursuing a career of like research scientist or academia after I graduate. Yeah. In terms of the casual activities for me, I like to just hang around the Thayer Street because there's a lot of good food around it, and go to different restaurants and taste different foods. That's my like that's the my favorite activities around
Yeah,
Brown campus. Yeah.
yeah, no, very popular place and a lot of different dietary options there. It's a lot of fun. And Pranav, what are you
Yeah,
thinking about post-graduation and what's your fun thing to do?
yeah, for sure. I think right now I'm kind of using the flexibility that Brown gives because I'm still in my first semester, but I am pretty interested in debating in either a PhD or, as Wen Kwan mentioned, more of like a research role in corporate. So I think it's a pretty good flexibility that we have here because most of your work kind of aligns in both sectors. So I'm still kind of unsure, but I'm definitely trying to see if I can make a decision in the foreseeable future. But yeah, and for your second question on what I like to do here, I feel like there's a lot of like cool things or like spots that people don't really explore. I feel like we have a really good athletic center here, which I think that even the master students should leverage, especially during the winters and stuff. There's an indoor center here, so like we can use that even when there's pretty cold outside. And also as well as like the Providence downtown area, the mall is pretty nice there too. But yeah, there's a lot of fun activities, and I think it's definitely a place where it feels like home away from home. So yeah.
Tremendous. Providence is a very walkable city, so a lot of the things that Pranav and Wanquan have described are don't require a car to take advantage of. So that's terrific. Randall, any last word from you before we turn back to Victoria?
Yeah, sure. I just want to double down on what they already said. So I think we've been very successful at collaborating with master students, and they really own their project and their research. They can really lead things and be first author on papers that are either more towards, academic, let's say, future or industry future. And so we need more of you, basically. So come in numbers.
Tremendous. Let's continue on with our program and back to Victoria.
So there's actually a question in the chat for the students
Okay.
that I'd love to have addressed. What are some things you wish you knew beforehand before applying, and what made you choose the track you wanted? What inspired the research that you're interested in? Either Pranav or Wangquan feel strongly about answering.
I can go. Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing that I would say is a great resource is just the CS website and just looking at what faculty there are and like kind of researching them before coming. I feel like that's something like people kind of decide to do that once they come here, but I think if you're definitely interested in going to Brown during the summer, that's something great to research in, and also like faculty are really open-ended in terms of you can reach out to them probably during the summer, and they'll also give you tips on what to look at before you come to Providence. So that's something I feel like would be really helpful deciding what research you want to do here.
Yeah, just a quick add-on from me. So if you are not really sure like what research like topic you're gonna pursue during the masters, Brown actually offer a whole range of different like seminar course, and in those courses it's more like research focused. So in my last year, I took the research topic in self-supervised learning and also interpretability of language models. They are very great research works, and I produced two research papers just from those two courses. So I may just like make connections with professors and see what you're interested in. That's a great way to find out.
Awesome. And then, Randall, a question for you. If you want to work on robotics and autonomous machines, would it be better to pursue a master's in computer science or a degree in engineering?
Oh yeah, I think definitely come with us. So seriously, we have a lot of robotics researcher and we have a lot of collaboration going on between faculties. So for example, some of the work I'm doing on producing those foundation model with self-supervised learning, we want to deploy it on robots and test it in the real world. And this is what we can do in the department. So we are very well positioned to do this even compared to other institutions and even industry. So I cannot speak for the other departments, but we are well equipped to produce state-of-the-art solution in the CS department.
But just to make sure it's clear, you will see some robots while you walk around the department. We do have, right, we do have a strong research group doing robotics. So I would definitely, as Randall said, encourage you to apply to us, to our program.
Yeah. We have a lot of those Franca arms and quadruped robots, drones. In fact, I have some students right now that are working with drones and quadrupeds to try to gather some new data set and do self-supervised learning with multi-agent collaboration, and we do this in the CS department. So yeah, lots of opportunities.
All right, awesome. So I think we can go to the next slide and we can run through some more information. All right, so we're going to talk about Brown more in depth before we get into the application process. So if we want to go to the next slide. Brown's in Providence, Rhode Island. We've talked quite a bit on this call about a lot of things, but one of the things that I think makes us really unique is our location. So Providence is a small city in New England, a larger city in New England, though, very walking friendly. You don't necessarily need a car to live here. We have bike lanes. It's easy to get around. As a Brown student, you get free ridership on our city buses, as well as the Brown University shuttle. Ton of art, music, entertainment. We have RISD, the Rhode Island School of Design. We get free entrance to the museum as staff, faculty, and students, which is awesome. Lots of green space outside, excellent restaurants like we were talking about earlier. All in all, great place to live, easy to get get around as well, we're really well situated in the Northeast between and among a lot of major cities. So easy to get to Boston, just about an hour train ride, a few hours to New York. So if you wanted to go visit folks in other cities or explore opportunities in other cities, you'd be in a really good location to do that. We're the ocean state, so there's also a lot of beaches, like I said earlier, outdoor activities. If we want to go to the next slide, we can go a little bit more in depth about Providence. So Providence is outlined here with all of our different neighborhoods. We have hearts over the areas of the city where our students tend to frequent. Brown has a fairly broad footprint in the city of Providence. So while the majority of your classes for computer science will be on College Hill, our graduate student apartment building is in downtown, which is in the jewelry district. It's about a 15 or 20-minute walk from the jewelry district up to the furthest part of College Hill. So really not huge, not a big distance to walk, but like I said earlier, we do have those shuttles that run anywhere that Brown has a footprint. We have limited housing available for graduate students. That's just an important thing to keep in mind. And you can get around the city via the RIPTA, the Rhode Island Public Transit Authority buses, as well as Brown shuttles. There's also scooters, bikes, things like that all over the city. So if we want to go to the next slide. I want to really highlight the Center for Master Student Excellence, which is in the Division of Masters and Professional Programs here. There's a ton of centers and offices that are really student-oriented, interested in connecting you with important resources to help you be successful as a student while you're at Brown. The center for that really for us is the Center for Master Student Excellence. The Center for Master Student Excellence administers all of the master's programs, as well as houses all of the master's-specific student resources for our students who are enrolled in our programs. Student affairs, career services and professional development, commencement, all of those things are run through the Center for Master Student Excellence. So really excellent resource for folks. And I think something that makes us really unique in the landscape of master's programs in the United States. We totally recognize that as a master's student, we don't have you for as long as we would an undergraduate student or a PhD candidate. We only have you for 2 years. So we really need you to hit the ground running so that we can help you meet those goals that you have after you graduate. So if we want to go to the next slide. We'll talk a little bit more about the resources within the Center for Master Student Excellence. So the Center for Master Student Excellence has academic counseling, advising. If you ever have anything that you need, accommodations in the classrooms, you have an emergency, really the first place to look is the Center for Master Student Excellence and our student affairs staff. Brown at large also has a ton of resources for support for our current students, 24/7 access, counseling services, student accessibility services, and the Center for Master Student Excellence staff can help connect you with those folks as well. So if we want to go to the next slide. We have these layers of support for career and professional development at Brown as well. So you have a ton of great industry contacts through the department, folks who can help you sort of navigate your career in computer science. In the Division of Masters and Professional Programs, we have staff who are there to help you with resume, cover letter writing workshops, salary negotiations, one-on-one advising for career planning. You'll meet with our career staff at orientation, and then they'll work individually with you as well as departments to offer sessions that are of note. We have STEM-specific career advising as well. I'd really encourage you to check out the master's career website to get a sense of what's offered on a week-to-week basis for our master's students, and then you can sort of get a sense of how your career search might fit in the framework of that programming. Beyond the Division of Master's Programs, we have the Center for Career Exploration, which coordinates our career fairs as well as recruitment events on campus. Our job and internship opportunities are posted in Handshake. We use that pretty extensively. Of course, one of the great perks of being a Brown University student is you get access to our incredibly active alumni base. So you'll be able to connect with alumni and then become an alumni and be an active alumni interested in hopefully hiring our Brown students. So then we can go to the next slide. I want to talk a little bit more in depth about the application process. So on the next slide, we have a pretty good high-level overview of the application requirements. So as a part of the application, we're going to require you to submit your transcripts. We'll allow unofficial transcripts for the purposes of your application. However, if you do end up matriculating at Brown, we'll require you to follow up with your official transcripts. We don't require a credential evaluation from a service like ECE, WES, the evaluation company, upon application. However, if you do have a degree from an institution outside of the United States, we'll require you to submit that when you matriculate. But like I said, for the purposes of your application, just your unofficial transcript is fine. That being said, your transcript should be comprehensive of all of the work that you've done after secondary school. So if you have multiple degrees, if you transferred universities, we want to see all of your transcripts. And then for folks who are still in an undergraduate program, because we do have a lot of students who are applying in their senior year of college, make sure that you're looking at your transcript to see that it includes a list of in-progress courses for both the fall and the spring semesters. If you're applying now, the application deadline isn't until January, but if you're applying now, you should plan to follow up with those grades once you have them after the fall so that the admission committee can get the fullest view of your academic record and your academic history. We're going to have you submit a CV or a resume, which is going to outline research, work experience, skills, your education. We're going to have you answer a series of short answer questions. My biggest piece of advice here is make sure you're answering the actual question. Don't just copy and paste for your personal statement. Really address the question specifically. Talk about Brown, talk about the computer science program at Brown. And like I said, answer those questions. Use it as a piece of professional writing. It's one of the only opportunities that you have to really have a conversation with us and for us to be able to get a sense of what your writing skills are. We require 3 letters of recommendation. We require all 3 letters of recommendation in order for your application to be considered. We can't consider applications that only have 2 letters of recommendation. For folks who don't speak English as their native language and who do not or will not have a degree from an institution where English is the sole language of instruction, we're going to require you to submit English language proficiency exam scores. The only way to satisfy that requirement is through the TOEFL or the IELTS, and you can see the required minimum score on the screen. That is a required minimum score, so keep that in mind too as you're navigating the application process. I'm sure I'm going to get a ton of questions about this, but we are waiving the application fee for anybody who attends the session today. You're all in attendance. That's great. We're going to waive that $100 application fee for you. That waiver is going to be applied automatically. We're going to match the email address that you use to register for the session with the email address that you use to apply. If you run into any issues with that, though, of course, you can always reach out to us and we're happy to troubleshoot any of that. The GRE is not required, but it is recommended, and we will look at the GRE if you do choose to submit it, and then prerequisite coursework as well. So if we want to go to the next slide, some next steps, start your application if you haven't already. I definitely encourage you to start to solicit those letters of recommendation from folks. The deadline to apply for the computer science program for fall 2026 is January 15th. You want to make sure you're giving folks plenty of time to write a really convincing letter of recommendation for you. You should be asking folks who know you really well, who can speak to you in the classroom and the work that you've done for them, whatever makes most sense based off of where you are. And I'll share a link to the program finder page where we have specific instructions on who to ask for letters of recommendations. And then keep in mind, you have 2 weeks after the deadline to complete your submitted application. Don't let a letter of recommendation being missing stop you from submitting your application. Make sure you're submitting by the deadline, and then we can give you some extra time, 2 weeks, to submit those additional materials. So we can go to the next slide. Here's some contact information as well. Like I said earlier, we're happy to answer any questions you have. I'll drop my email in the chat as well so folks can be in contact with me directly. I can already see some questions in the chat about the application process. So I think that now we can start to transition into the Q&A. One of the first questions I'll take, if your 4-year bachelor's degree was in English, you are not required to submit the TOEFL or the IELTS. So if English is not your native language, but you have a degree or will have a degree by the time you matriculate from an institution where the sole language of instruction is English, we're not going to require you to submit the TOEFL or the IELTS. When do we hear back? So the application deadline is mid-January. You will hear back by mid-March. Question for the students. What is your favorite component about Brown and what it has to offer for graduate students? Quan, I'm going to call on you first because Pranav went first this time.
Yeah, sure. Favorite components about, oh yeah. I think it's mostly about the flexibility because like I only need to take 2 courses per semester. So I actually got enough free time to do to do the research I'm interested in. So in terms of the curriculum, I think it's my favorite component for graduate students.
Yeah, just I guess to add on to that, I think I would agree with Lin Quan in that that you can take from other departments, and I think a lot of people here, if you talk to the undergrad students, they do recommend like APMA courses as well. So I think doing interdisciplinary courses is definitely a big advantage, which I guess for master students is also a really good advantage because you get an idea of what almost like undergrad life here was also like.
Yeah, I also took a course from the applied maths department and it was awesome. Yeah.
All right. If your TOEFL score is below the minimum, would your application be considered? Like I said, that TOEFL score is the required minimum score for the application. I don't know, Alan, Nikos, if you want to weigh in at all on that, but I think it's pretty hard and fast.
I think that the fair answer here is that there are always exceptions. We really seek into everything, the complete application or the profile as much as we can represent it, of a candidate, of an applicant. Therefore, I would uh, I would recommend that you apply, even if perhaps more generally, one of the criteria that I mentioned in my presentation perhaps seems to be missing. The main reason, again, is that we maintain the complete view of an applicant, and we appreciate, things that collectively may be enough uh, to bypass kind of a missed criterion. Alan, am I describing this correctly?
Well, I think Victoria said it well. It is a minimum. And I can't remember in my years with the program that anybody below that minimum has been admitted. Um, so um, if there is something really incredibly unusual about your background in other ways, then by all means, give it a try. But generally speaking, the minimum is enforced.
And yeah, to be clear, I was referring more generally to the admission criteria. Victoria, this was not to invalidate your answer, which is, of course, is accurate. Thank you, Alan, for pointing this out.
All good. So what's the recommended GRE score? And I want to state again, we do not require the GRE, but we do recommend submitting the score if you've taken it. Alan, Nikos, of the folks who are submitting GRE scores, do you have a sense of what a competitive score might be for our applicants?
Exactly, because these are an optional, evaluation. I think it's not safe to talk about any admission criteria with respect to that. Um, I think it's something supplementary that we consider. So it can help um, an application. It can provide more evidence about English proficiency and the like.
If folks are missing one prerequisite course out of the courses you've described, will that be a serious disadvantage? Will their application not be considered?
Here is where what I explained earlier actually finally makes application here. That no, it will not be a hard criterion, that you missed and you will not be considered. Certainly, it's part of our prerequisites. It's part of the qualification that we need to check a student about. But it may be the case, just to give an example, that linear algebra has not been taken, but at the same time, the candidate has research and experience in advanced AI topics that actually make use of, uh, such technologies. So just to give you an example that in general, we look for this minimally required background or topics, but missing one course will not be necessarily a reject, right? A denied application.
All right, well, it's 5:01, so we're a minute past, but there were also no more questions in the Q&A. So I just want to take a minute to thank everybody for coming. Uh, Great session. Pranav, Wangquan, Randall, especially really appreciate your additions to the conversation. If anybody has any questions, they can definitely reach out to us. But other than that, have a great rest of your night. All
Thanks for
right.
having me. Have a
Bye,
good night.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for joining the session.